Hi, friends. Thank you for joining me this evening. Oh, it's a beautiful fall evening here in New Mexico. We're going to always focus on building strength. That's just one of the things that I am all about is building core strength and building hip strength. Personally in my life, I've had a lot of issues with my hips and I've had a lot of issues with low back pain, especially in the SI joint. And one thing that I found out with all the studies that I've been doing is the fact that I need to focus on strengthening my hips and my core so that I have a strong back to support my body and so many things, holding the tummy muscles in, having a strong back to keep the spine nice and lengthened. There's so much that is attached to this whole torso that brings so much stress if we're just, rounding in the shoulders or if we are, which I have opportunity with. So my practice is always bringing something that some other people might be dealing with as well. Same pains that I deal with, I want to bring out to other people that maybe are out there struggling with the same thing. So we're going to focus today on strength building, balance poses, of course, always balance poses. We're also going to focus on opening up the hamstrings and getting a nice stretch. Maybe we can do some IT stretches too as well, opening up the whole fascia and the side of the leg, which will feel really good. Can't think of a theme. I'm not good at thinking of themes because every time I come up with a yoga sequence, it's always about well, what do I want to feel in the body today? What do I want to build strength on in the body? What muscles do I want to work? So themes I'll be working on with you guys. Anyway, I also wanted to give a little bit of a testimony. Actually, not a little bit of a testimony, but a lot of a testimony. One of the reasons I stepped away from yoga from doing YouTube videos, I never stepped away from yoga, was the fact that I recently found Jesus in my life. And I, through my practice in yoga, want to show you the beauty of Jesus through the practice of the flow. There's a lot of contradictive stories out there from whether it's, let's say, all sides of the spectrum here. The only thing that I know is that the Lord blessed me with some beautiful yoga opportunities in my life when I first started to pursue my yoga. I feel like it was a true blessing. Also, the Lord called me to be this instructor to help people that are trying to make that transition from a new age way of thinking into an acceptance through grace, through love, experience through a living God. And I know this is wordy and long, but I needed to get this out there and let everybody know that this is going to be a Christian yoga practice. This is something that we're going to do to glorify our Father in heaven who gave us this beautiful body to bend and move it around and keep it strong. He wants health for us and he wants us to move our body. And I believe that with my whole heart and soul. So anyway, that's a short testimony. We'll stop it here and then we'll start with another video and we'll work on a beautiful practice. Again, thank you all for joining me. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Pressing those sit bones into the mat. We're going to lengthen up the spine as the crown of the head reaches up towards heaven. Closing down the eyes and just letting our senses take over. Feeling the beautiful warm sun on my cheek and the cool breeze in my hair. Love it. Feels so beautiful. Smelling the cool air, kind of warm and cool at the same time. Long deep breaths. Long deep exhales here. Settling into the practice. Getting ready for some movement. Let's flutter the open. Flutter the open. Flutter open our eyes. And with a big inhale, let's reach back. Oh, inhale. Hands meet above the head, and then exhale, hands to heart center here. Push the hands into one another. Inhale, reach those fingertips up to the sky. Oh, and exhale, push those hands into one another here. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, hands to heart center here. Big inhale as we reach the fingertips up towards the sky. And then exhale as we plant the right hand down and we rainbow over the left arm. Ooh, press that right hand into the mat. Inhale back to center. And exhale over towards the left. Oh, reaching over. Feel that stretch. Big inhale here. We're going to come back to center. Hands meet above the head and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale as we reach up. And exhale as we twist over towards the right, dropping the right hand back behind us, left hand in front. Taking this left hand, we're going to place it on the right knee. And then we're going to rainbow over this right arm, towards the left side. Again, reaching with the pinky. Inhale as we come back to center. Drop that right hand down. Return to center. Big inhale as we reach the fingertips up to the sky. And exhale. Twist over towards the left. Right hand in front. Left hand behind you. Taking that right hand to the left knee. And then a big exhale as we rainbow over towards the left side or right side. Left hand over to the right side. Reach with that left pinky. Inhale back to center. And twist back. Facing forward. Get rid of my little scarf here. We're going to move down onto our backs here. I think I want to be in the sun while we're doing this. So the top of my mat will be over here today. Taking a moment to breathe and look at everything. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful today. Let's find our way down to our backs, nice and slow. Holding onto the knees and lowering the back down. I'm going to take Baddha Konasana here. Got to move my clippy out of the way. But we might have to cut it right there. Come on, clippy. All right. Back of the neck is nice and long here. Knees up to the sky. And then we're going to release the knees and allow the gravity to just allow the knees to come down towards the earth. Soles of the feet touching. Breathing here and feeling the big stretch. I can feel it. I can feel it right here in my adductors a little bit. Definitely my groin muscles, nice and tight right there. Belly button to the spine to hold the natural C curve of the back. And when you put the belly button towards the spine, it feels so good in the low back. Hands can come alongside the body, palms facing up, or one hand on the heart and the other on the belly. Two more rounds of breath here. Big inhale as we guide the knees back together with our hands. And we're going to take a stretch in our hamstring. So we're going to lift the right leg. But first, before we lift the right leg, let's go ahead and take a lock around this big toe. Peace fingers in between the first and second toe, and then you're going to lengthen the heel up towards the sky. Oh, feel that stretch in your hamstring here. This is a big stretch just to start, so maybe warm up the hamstring by having the left knee bent. And once you start to open up and feel the muscles relax a little bit, you can lengthen out this left leg. Flexing even more here. Breathing. Oh, hi, Tiki. What are you doing? I'm going to come do yoga with you. And then next exhale, we can actually take our leg and just slightly bring it across the body. Just a little bit. You can feel the whole IT band light up right in through here. I'm going to inhale back to center. Bend this knee. Bring the foot down to the mat. Bending in this left knee, we're going to grab for that big toe. We're going to lengthen out here. Oh, left heel up towards the sky. Nice hamstring stretch. Oh, this feels so good. Allowing the body to open up. On the next exhale, just go ahead and lengthen out this right leg if you have the flexibility without coming up. If you're coming up, body, just bend this right knee. I got all my chickies on my mat with me this morning, or this evening. And the next exhale, just slightly bring feeling that for sure light up in my whole IT band here. Left leg slightly over towards the right side. And then inhale back to center. Release that big toe, bend the knee. We're going to bend both knees and we're going to roll over to one side, coming into a fetal. Using the top hand, we're going to return back to seated. Hi, Romeo. What are you doing, handsome boy? That's my handsome rooster, Romeo. He is my stray boy I found on the side of the street. Lengthening up the spine here, crown of the head reaching up. We're going to do some spinal circles. So let's do our spinal circles, moving in a clockwise motion. Initiating the movement from the sit bones. Feeling the stretch. You can be overly dramatic by bringing the heart forward, gazes up, and then you can exhale and round everything in. Or you can just do some nice small twists. Whatever feels good to you today. Reverse the direction. I got some chickens yelling at me. Tick, tick, tickies. Think I'm a weirdo. Crossing the ankles here. Go ahead and meet in a tabletop. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Now let's move the spine organically, just to start. Wiggling around, feeling into your spine. Feels so nice. Returning into a neutral spine, tabletop here. Let's spread the fingers nice and wide and let's do our circles over our wrists. Getting ready for our wrist and hand poses here. Reverse the direction. Tucking those toes. We're going to bring the fingers back together. And we're going to externally rotate the hands until the fingertips are facing the knees. All right, so your fingertips are going to go out and then face your knees. Feeling this stretch here. And then with a big exhale, we're going to sink the hips towards the heels, and we're going to lift the heel of the hand here, leaving all the finger, the full finger extended on the mat. Feeling the stretch here, and let's make some circles with the thumbs. Next exhale, sink the hips back even further and just leave the fingertips, lifting the hand even more and just leaving the fingertips on the mat, feeling that stretch in the hand. Try not to buckle in the elbows here. And then next exhale, go ahead and take a seat on those heels in our toe sit. Bending the elbows, open and close those hands. Wiggle the fingers and feel the difference in the hands. Next inhale, let's come forward into tabletop, untuck those toes, and tap them out. We are going to stretch the top of our hands, the top of the forearms here. So we're going to externally rotate the hands until the fingertips are facing out. So the fingertips are facing out. And then out to the side, I should say. And then we're going to flip the hand over. Shoulders over the wrist still. Flipping both hands over here and feeling this stretch. Ooh, big stretch here. For those of you who want to get a little bit more of a stretch, you can just take little rocks back and forth, side to side. Opening up the forearm here and feeling that stretch. Tucking the toes. And then come to a seat on the heels, bend in those elbows, and again, open and close the hands. What am I sitting on? Something's poking my foot. Ooh, that was big. I needed that. My hands were tight. All right, coming back into a tabletop again. And a big inhale, we're going to pull back with a bow and arrow. Like pulling back on a bow and arrow, I should say. Left fingertips reach up to the sky. Gaze follows. And then exhale, we're going to thread that needle through. Thread that needle through. Inhale as we come back up, pulling back on that bow and arrow and reach the fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, thread that needle through. We're going to bring, I just lost my earpiece. As we thread this needle through, or thread this arm through, we're going to bring the left shoulder and the left cheek down to the mat. Feeling this big stretch here in the shoulders. With an inhale, I want you to press that right hand right by your face. Push the ground away. Pull back on that bow and arrow and reach the left fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, plant that left hand down. Taking a seat back on our heels. We're going to plant the hand back behind us and we're going to reach the left fingertips up to the sky. And exhale here. Bring that arm down. I want us to separate the knees. We're going to plant, again, this right hand down. So separating the knees here, we're going to inhale and we're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, reaching back here. Beautiful. And then big exhale, sink those hips down. Bringing the knees back together, we're going to come forward into a tabletop. We're going to wiggle around a little bit. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Separating the knees again, we're going to plant the left hand down. And again, if you want to stay on the knees, you can cactus the arm, heart comes forward. Or if you'd like, you can inhale and lift the hips up towards the ceiling, reaching the fingertips back behind you, heart up towards the sky. And then exhale, we're going to take the feet in. Let's do child's pose. Because it feels kind of awkward not to have a child's pose when I do this. Knees can be together or apart, whatever feels good to you. Big inhale here as we come up into the tabletop. Tucking in the toes, and we're going into our first downward dog. So send those hips up and back, down dog. Pedaling into your first down dog. Feeling your hands on the earth. Grip that mat with the entire hand. Separate the scapula. Find your down dog for one round of breath. And then on a big inhale, we're going to come up to the tippy toes. We're going to bend in the knees and we're going to round. Just bend in the knees. Get a nice big bend here. Getting some length in the upper back. And then inhale as we come back into a down dog. Planting the knees down. We're going to push back into child. Next inhale, let's come forward into a tabletop. Shoulders over the wrist, hips over the knees, and let's pull back with the bow and arrow with the right hand and reach the right fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, thread that needle through. Inhale as we reach up to the sky. And then exhale here, thread that needle through, bringing the right cheek and the right shoulder down to the mat. Big inhale as you press that left hand into the mat right by your face. Pushing the ground away, we're going to pull back again on that bow and arrow, reaching the right fingertips up to the sky. Exhale as we take a seat on the heels, separating the knees, and inhale as we lift the hips up towards the sky. And exhale, we're going to come forward into a tabletop, and we're going to wiggle the spine around. Exhale, take a seat on the heels, separating the knees, planting the left hand down, and inhale, lift the hips up towards the sky. And then exhale, bringing the arms forward, child's pose. Inhale as we tuck the chin to the chest. We wave the body forward in a table. We're going to tuck those toes and send the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Big inhale here as we come up to the tippy toes and we bend in the knees, push the ground away, getting a big stretch. And then next inhale here, we're going to come back into a down dog and then lower down the knees. Push back into child's pose. Tucking the chin to the chest, we're going to wave the body forward into plank into a tabletop. And again, big inhale here as we reach the left fingertips up to the sky. Twisting here, and then exhale, thread that needle through, bringing the left shoulder and left cheek down to the mat. Inhale here as we reach back, pulling that bow and arrow back with the left fingertips, and then exhale, we're going to sink the hips to the heels, planting the left hand down, separating the knees, and inhale as we lift the hips up towards the sky. Exhale as we sink the hips down, and we're going to swoosh the body over, coming into a child's pose, and we're going to plant the right hand down, and inhale, lift those hips up towards the sky. Exhale, sink those hips down. We're going to come forward into a tabletop. We're going to tuck those toes, send the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Big inhale here as we come up to the tippy toes, bend in the knees, and we're going to take a big stretch in the low back. And then next exhale, we're going to bring those knees down, and we're going to move in the spine. Taking a nice little wiggle here. All right. Next inhale, we're going to pull back on the bow and arrow with that right hand, reaching the right fingertips up to the sky, and then exhale, thread that needle through, bringing the cheek down to the mat and the shoulder. Inhale as you push the ground away again, reaching those right fingertips up to the sky, and then we're going to untuck the toes and take a seat on the heels, separating the knees, planting the right hand. Inhale, lift the hips up towards the sky. Exhale here as we swoosh the body around, coming into a child's pose, planting the left hand, and inhale as we lift the hips up towards the ceiling again. And then exhale as we come forward into a child's pose. Next inhale, let's come forward into a tabletop here. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. And we're going to thread the needle again. Big inhale as we pull back. Reach the fingertips up to the sky, left fingertips, and then exhale, thread that needle through. Inhale, we're going to push, pull that bow, reach those left fingertips, and then exhale, sink those hips down on the heels. Plant that left hand down, separate the knees. Inhale, lift up, and exhale. Swoosh around to the top of the mat, or head down to the ground. Next inhale, we're going to tuck the chin to the chest, and we're going to come forward, tucking the toes and sending the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Big inhale here as we bring the knees down and come into a tabletop, and we're going to wiggle around. Nice organic movements in the spine. I wish my shirt would stay down. It's cold. My belly's getting cold. Shaking it out here. And then let's go ahead and do the other side. So big inhale, reach. Right fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, thread that needle through. I always get confused when I say the wrong side. Inhale as we reach the right fingertips up to the sky. And then exhale, untuck those toes and take a seat back. Separate the heels, plant the right hand down. Inhale as we lift. Left fingers up. Lifting those hips up towards the sky. We're going to come forward again. Tucking those toes and sending the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Big inhale here as we come up to the tippy toes. We bend in the knees and get a nice big stretch in the upper back. Dropping the heels down again. And we come into down dog. Big inhale here as we come up to the tippy toes. We're going to bend in the knees and we're going to take a big step forward. Feet in between the hands and forward fold. Let's separate the feet. I would say about hips distance apart, which is roughly 2 fists in between the hands. Slight bend in the knees or generous bend in the knees. Belly's going to come to the top of the thighs. And we're going to grab opposite elbows, taking ragdoll here. And let's go ahead and make a fluid ragdoll. Swaying back and forth. Releasing the hands now. We're going to inhale and push those feet into the ground as we come up to standing. Coming to our peak poses here. Inhale as we reach the fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center here. Heels can be hips distance apart. And we're going to take a big inhale as we reach the fingertips up to the sky. We're going to bring that right knee with us in one leg mountain. And then on a big exhale, we're going to twist over towards the right. Coming back into a one leg mountain, reaching the fingertips up. And then with a big exhale, we're going to lengthen out this right leg back behind us. We're going to come into L shape, bringing the hands down to the ground, flexing the feet and squaring up the hips. So hips are parallel with a mat, slight bend in the standing knee. Big exhale as we step that right foot to the back of the mat. We drop the knee down and inhale as we come up into a low lunge. Planting the hands down. Let's take a big step with that left foot back. And we're going to come into down dog. Inhale as we come up to the tippy toes, tucking the chin to the chest. And we're going to wave that body forward into plank. And then big exhale here. We're going to bend in the knees and shift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Inhale as we come up to the tippy toes, bending in the knees. We're going to wave that body again forward into plank. And then on an exhale here, we're going to bring the knees down, untuck the toes, and slowly lower the heart down. We're going to come into Sphinx pose. So planting the hands in front of you, elbows are going to come underneath the shoulders. Fingertips are spread nice and wide, lifting the heart towards heaven here. Gaze is at the sun. I love it. Shoulder blades draw together, and let's pull those elbows towards our hips, opening up our tummy here. And then next exhale, lower the heart down. Plant the hands under the shoulders. Push back, down dog. Big inhale here as we come up to the tippy toes. We bend in the knees and we're going to take a big step forward, feet in between the hands, and forward fold. Big inhale here as we halfway lift. Give yourself a wiggle in the hips, and exhale, fold. Plant those feet. Let's come to standing in Tadasana. Hands meet above the head, and exhale, hands to heart center here. We're going to do the other side. Inhale as we reach the fingertips up to the sky. And then we're going to bring that left leg with us, flexing that foot here, coming into one leg mountain. Feeling our steadiness. And then from here, we're going to take a twist. So twist over towards the left, finding your pose. Steadily coming into it. And then a big inhale as we come back, woo, into one leg mountain. I'm on uneven ground. Let's see if I can do this again. Coming into one leg mountain here. And then with your next exhale, we're going to twist over towards the left. Inhale as we come forward again, coming into one leg mountain. And then exhale as the heart comes forward and we lengthen out this left leg. Hands come down to some blocks or to the mat. Flexing both feet, squaring up the hips here, belly button to the spine. And then next exhale, step this left foot to the back of the mat. Dropping the back knee down and big inhale. As we come up and find on an exhale our low lunge. This feels really nice. Planting those hands down, we're going to take a big step back and we're going to come into downward facing dog. Inhale as we come up to the tippy toes, tucking the chin to the chest, and let's wave the body forward into plank. And then exhale, bend in the knees, shifting the hips up and back, down dog. We're going to come forward again. So on a big inhale, come up to the tippy toes, bending in those knees, and we're going to wave the body forward into plank. And then big exhale as we bring the knees down. Untuck the toes and slowly lower the heart down. Coming into a Sphinx pose again. Reaching those hands right at the top of the mat. Lifting up the heart on an inhale and place those elbows right underneath the shoulders. Fingertips are spread nice and wide. Shoulder blades draw together, and let's pull those elbows towards the hips, opening up the tummy and the heart. And the big exhale, we're going to lower that heart down. Plant those hands under the shoulders. We're going to push back into a downward facing dog. Big inhales. We come up to the tippy toes, bend in the knees, and we're going to take a big step forward. Feet in between the hands and forward fold. Slightly tuck that pelvic bowl towards the belly button. And inhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head reaching forward, slight cobra in the back. And then exhale, fold. Planting the hands here, we're going to bend in the knees and we're going to bring the booty all the way down to the mat. Finding our way. Whew. Let's go ahead. Bring our way back down. Lengthening out the legs here. We're going to take a forward fold. And again, this is going to be my new favorite forward fold. Planting those sit bones into the mat. Reach the fingertips up to the sky. Bend in the knees. Feet are flexed. And exhale as you lead with the heart. Heart comes on top of the thighs here. And hands are over the feet. Getting a nice stretch in the low back here to start. And then for those of you that have the flexibility, you can start to lengthen out those feet. Oof. Oof. I'm lengthening out my mat as I go. Feeling this stretch here. Slightly tuck the pelvic bowl towards the belly button. Big stretch. Wherever you're at in your stretch, go ahead and relax the neck and the head. Inhale as you plant those hands and we come back to seated. We're going to lower down to our backs. Slowly releasing the back down. We're going to take a hug here. Hugging in the knees to the chest. We're going to move into half happy, or we're not half happy baby, full baby. We're going to be a happy baby here. So we're going to part the knees. Arms are going to come in between the knees. Hands are going to grab on the outside of the feet. Inhale as we lift the heels up towards the sky. Lifting the heels up towards the sky, pulling the feet back down to the earth. Pushing that sacrum down into the mat. Get a nice stretch in the low back and in the groin muscles. And then with your next exhale, we're going to bend in those knees. Release the feet. Feet come down to the mat. And we're going to lengthen out here, coming into our Shavasana. Naturally separating the feet. About shoulders distance apart. Allow the feet to naturally open up. Bringing one hand to the belly, the other hand to the heart. Let's melt into the earth. Relaxing the face. And let's find stillness here for a few minutes. Start to awaken the body. Making movements in the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Make the movement grow up the body. Keeping the eyes heavier closed, we're going to bend in the knees. Rolling over to one side, we're going to come into our fetal position. And then with the top hand, go ahead and press that hand into the mat. And let's turn to an easy seated position, Sukhasana. Oops, I should have had my eyes closed. Let's go ahead and bring our eyes closed. Hands to heart center here. And thank yourself for showing up today. This was a nice, sweet little evening practice. I hope you guys enjoy this. Built some strength in the legs, some opening in the hips. Felt yummy. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your practice. It means so much to me when you guys tune in. Let's just finish here by saying have a good evening. I will see you next week, and be safe throughout the rest of the week, and God bless you. And yeah, that's it. Take care, guys. Bye.